My mom is a Bennett, and she was born in Canton, Ohio. All her siblings were born in Canton, Ohio. Then, but her father's from Calhoun County. His name was Rupert French Bennett. He was born in 1921 in Calhoun County. Her mother was Patricia May Bennett, Petty Bennett, and she was born in Ritchie County. I'll get eventually to the Pettys, but I started doing research on the Bennetts, and I hit a roadblock after Emory Jackson Bennett, and I couldn't find his parents. And for a few years, and I finally found some information at the Wood County Library on a book, and I found stuff about the Bennett family, and that's where I found out his name was James Alexander Bennett, and he married a Sarah Ann Wright, but But for years, I hit a brick wall on that Bennett side on James Alexander Bennett. I hit a brick wall for over 20 years. And I couldn't figure out why. And I used family search. And I wrote down the year he was born on my research. And I started looking. And I found a connection. And I finally opened the door. And I found out his parents were William H. Bennett and Sarah Easterling. They were from South Carolina. Funny story is, we go come down here. I live in South Carolina in Horry County to Myrtle Beach for family vacations. And when we first started, I was 2 years old. We stayed in South Myrtle, and then we stopped coming for about 10 years. And then we came back when my sister got married and had kids. And we started coming when her daughter was not even a year old. No, she was almost 2 by the time we started coming back down here. And we would drive by Bennettsville, South Carolina, and I'd go tease my mama. My mom is not into genealogy. It was just me and my dad, and my sister's not into it either. Say, Mama, I wonder if we're any relations to those Bennetts. And she'd go, no. And I thought to myself, I would love to find that connection, and wondered if years passed. And a few years before I moved down here, I did family search. I found it. That's where I found that connection. Found out that William H. Bennett came from Pendleton, South Carolina, and his wife, Sarah Easterling, came from Bennettsville, South Carolina. What happened was they migrated to Virginia, later became West Virginia as we know it today, and their son stayed. Their son, James Alexander, stayed. The rest of his brothers were born either in Georgia and South Carolina. But then they left. His parents left and migrated to Alabama. His dad died in Alabama because they're en route to Arkansas. And his mother and some of his siblings died in Arkansas. And that's why I hit the brick wall, because they migrated from South Carolina. And I spent years looking for that. And someone made a comment to me on Family Search that I had the wrong William Bennett. But I never made a comment back to them, and I always kept it connected. I did my DNA test in 2022, came back that I was related to William H. Bennett from South Carolina and Sarah Easterling of Bennettsville, Marlborough County, South Carolina. Proved that. And I have like 72 matches to one of them. I think it's to him. No, he's 82 matches and she's 72 matches. So I have all these distant cousins that I'm related to, and it proved that I was correct in the search I have found. So I realized, and I don't live that far from Marlborough County. Now I'm too far away from Pendleton, but I've not sat down and researched it out. But my family comes from Calhoun County, but my mom and dad raised us in Wood County. It's not that far from Calhoun County. You can go between Ritchie and Wirt to get to either way you go. And so I grew up going to Calhoun County, not a lot, some. And I have went back with my Dad and I, my mom's sister and I went and we found some of the Bennett's where they're buried at, and they're in Joker, they're in Her, they're in Elizabeth, I mean in Calhoun, Grantsville. They're in different areas of Calhoun County. So that's my Bennett story. Now, my grandfather, Rupert French Bennett, fought during World War II, and he fought in some, he was Old Hickory. I wrote a paper on this, and what he did was he would go in before Patton would, and he would clear it out. He was there at D-Day, like 2 or 3 days after it happened. He was at D-Day. Like I said, and he fought in some of the major battles during World War II. He fought for over 280 some days. He was a platoon lead. He was a leader too. So I found it in a book years ago about Calhoun, about his medals. Now, those medals were lost. I can go back and get them. I just haven't did it yet. So you have to be patient. You can't rush into... Sometimes you're going to hit that brick wall. And like I said, it's frustrating. I spent that 20 years doing that research, and I finally opened up. And your DNA, if you want to take a DNA test, do it. And it will open those doors up sometimes that you don't know that are open.